Hi, this is Dan Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you to the Multiplier Mindset Podcast. It's a real pleasure to introduce you to one of the great friend relationships that I have in Strategic Coach, and this is Andrew Pizzo, who's a real innovator, entrepreneur in the fashion industry right in the middle of New York City. And I have to tell you, it's a very, very competitive, fast-changing industry, especially with platforms like Amazon coming on board now, which are just completely changing the whole game for everybody in the retail industry and especially in the fashion industry. I have a tremendous admiration for Drew as an entrepreneur, also as a person, about how he has completely transformed himself in his industry where 80% of his competitors from 5 years ago are roadkill right now. They've just been wiped away by the technological changes and how people buy fashion accessories, which is his specialty. The key thing that Drew says here, and this happened in his 17th year in the program, and Drew had made tremendous progress, mind-boggling progress. We introduced a concept, and this was in year 28 of the Strategic Coach program. It was called WhoNotHow, so that when you have a goal of an improvement in your business, and you'll define this in terms of bigger results, and also in terms of a better way of working, you're immediately confronted, how am I going to do this? And what we teach entrepreneurs, no, your job is to define the bigger and better for everybody in your company, and then say, I'm the who that actually tells everybody the new what and the new why, but I'm not the person who does the how. And so instead of me doing the how, I immediately say, well, what kind of new who do I need who will do the how for me? And he's just used this one concept, and especially over the last 2 years, because, he just got blindsided as the entire retail industry in the United States, around the world, because of Amazon, the Amazon platform. And he said, well, I'm just going to utilize Amazon to reinvent my game. So instead of seeing this as a threat, I'm going to see it as an advantage. I'm going to combine all the change that is disrupting my entire industry. I'm just going to use that as an ally, and I'm going to use the concept, I'm going to do bigger and better in this entirely new world. I'm going to define the new what and why for my whole team and all the networks of people that I work with, and I'm just going to keep finding new who's who do the new hows that are necessary in this new world. Personally, I'm so gratified to be able to do this commentary on Drew's story because it's so exciting. And this guy is a street fighter. I remember him telling the story how he started just selling fashion accessories at street fairs in New York City, and now he's a major player in the fashion accessory industry.
My name is Andrew Pizzo. I'm in the fashion industry, and recently I've changed how I describe the business I'm in. We're in the industry of fashion, but I'm certainly an investor in a company called Collection 18. That's my company. And we are in the accessories business. We make design handbags, scarves, co-weather knits, hats, belts. We have a licensing company, or I should say we are a licensee for major brands, Vince Camuto, BCBG, Nine West, INC for Macy's. And I will tell you that that's always how I described our business. Recently, I took a trip with Peter Diamandis to Shanghai and Shenzhen. And when I was in Shenzhen, I had a bit of a mindset shift. And by that, I can say to you that I always thought we were a design company in the fashion accessory business. Today, I realize we are a sourcing company. I have sourcing offices in China and India, 2 in China. We have logistical capability. We can import and send anything from anywhere in the world to anywhere else in the world. We have warehouse and distribution here in the States. We have 30 of probably the largest retailers in North America. And if a customer is buying something, we can source it, and as long as we can package it, deliver value, market it a little better, a little differently than someone else, that's the business we're in the future. So certainly direct-to-consumer is a big opportunity, selling direct over the internet, and moving into other product classifications besides just fashion accessories. Earlier today, I was talking with Dan about WhoNotHow. Simply, it is a real step up on the art of delegation. I was in the class in Toronto when Dean Jackson and Dan were talking about a call they had had the night before, I think to set up their podcast. And Dean was talking to the group about the benefits of once you know why and once you know what you need to do, that let's just skip over how to do it and let's find who to do it. I believe that was around one of the first times this concept had been introduced. And Dan jumps on these things. He's smart. I mean, he was talking with Dean about it, but the class that day just went, and we still feel that way. Everybody that we talk to, that I took to and other members of the group talked to about it, we get the same reaction. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I did mention I was talking with Dan earlier, and I reminded him that about 17 years ago, one of the first sessions we were in together, he said, every piece of paper that crosses my desk, I ask myself, whose job is this? And I thought to myself, that's perfect. That's what I need to do. I need to delegate. Soon you learn that you don't have enough who's in the company to delegate to, and that becomes the goal, to find the right team members and expand your capability. So in the last quarter, I would say I've probably freed up 100, 150 hours of time if I needed to look at it that way, 10 to 12 hours a week. But I really don't see myself as being freed up from the labor-intensive things I might have done. I really see applying the who technology, right, to being able to multiply our productivity. I mean, the initiatives that many of us have, we start our company each year, probably with 8 to 10 initiatives. Many years ago, we'd get to August and I would say, which one of these are we going to finish? This year, I said, well, let's implement who, not how. And generally, how relied on me. How are we going to get these done? What do we need to do? And I brought to our management team on January 2nd those initiatives. The progress we've made in inventory management. Well, inventory in a business like mine is a big deal. I mean, you make your money on your inventory and you lose your money on your inventory. So by finding someone who is exceptional at understanding planning and how to plan our inventory for the optimal price was really a game changer for us. We also have a China office, as I mentioned, and we said we should be able to expand that China office and sell to our customers overseas in China. We have customers that think they would like to go direct and bypass the middleman, which we are to a degree. We're also a design company, so we now found the right person in China to develop the office from a sourcing and administrative office into a selling platform. And so we're taking our design capability, charging a commission, working out of China. Our customers tend to think that they're working with a Chinese company. They're really working with us. But that might have freed up some hours in terms of how I was going to sell that. I don't even know if it was freeing up hours as much as it just gave us a capability we didn't have. A couple of other simple examples around my assistant and how we work together. She's a tremendous who. The fact that I've given her so many more opportunities, we're now hiring an assistant for her to just manage the tasks because she's really capable of the thinking in the organization. And it just occurred to me again in the mindset of who, not how, I really need a CFO here. We're growing again. We went through a few rough years in wholesale and retail, but we are growing. And by bringing in someone at the CFO level who can really take the management of the profitability of the company from a point of view of strategy within the departments and how they operate together. Who, not how is also an exercise in entrenching yourself in your unique ability, right? So that really, for me, is the purpose of the delegation. It's delegating all of those things that I'm good at to someone who's exceptional at it, or identifying, and also even maybe a step before that, identifying what needs to be done and then realizing sometimes we don't have a who and going out and finding that. So it's also led to associations and collaborations in the company that we haven't had before. It's a mindset that is driving productivity and multiplied results for me and for the company.
This is a magic formula, I have to tell you. I mean, I've been blown away myself since we came up with this concept of who, not how, because I have strategic coach clients who have been with us for more than 25 years. They've made enormous progress in their industries. They've made enormous progress in creating a balanced life for themselves, where they have a great personal life, they have great business life, and all of a sudden, just a single thought, who, not how, immediately changes their entire framework. So picture it, that these are in the top 1% of successful entrepreneurs in their particular industry, and just with a new thought, a new way of looking at their future, where they have complete freedom to imagine bigger and better for themselves without taking on the burden of being the person who has to do the how. They take advantage of all the who's they have available, and then they keep upgrading the who's that surround them, who do more powerful hows that get the bigger and better results, and they're not the person who has to get bogged down with the actual implementation. They free themselves up from the implementation of the next bigger and better game plan, and all their job is to find the who's and give them direction and give them encouragement to achieve the bigger and better results that they see in their mind. Wonderful, wonderful story, and this goes on forever. Once you grasp Who Not How, there's no end of your game as an entrepreneur.